Hello, everybody. Welcome to the number 13th of the top 30 greatest checkmates of all time, or at least my top 30 to me. So I hope you guys will enjoy this one, and this is an amazing one. That was my face when I first saw the checkmate here. And this is a checkmate that was done just a few years ago by Grandmaster Amon Humpleton out of Canada. And there's a little bit, since it's so new, there's a lot of different information about this game. Some said it was against a computer. Others said it was against another very strong player, but it was a blitz game played on chess.com. And it was played, very quickly. In fact, a lot of this game was played with tenths of a second. They were moving or instant moves. So it definitely was no computer involved in this. It was very quick blitz game and quite amazing. So let's get to this game. And I do recommend try your best to stay away from it because this is actually about 150 moves, but we're not going to go through every single one, of course. So the game, oh no, yeah, and don't fall asleep, yeah. So here's the game, starting with pawn to d4. Hans was white. So far, nothing too amazing. That pawn h3 is played so the bishop can kind of go back to safety, which it did. So the bishop's not traded off. Take, pawn out, knight. Pretty normal development for both players. They're looking both to castle and get all their pieces out. Rook captures the open file. That looks good to me. And good development for all. Now, I know you're thinking, Mr. Dean, what's so great about this game? They're just developing. It's even maybe a little boring. In some ways it is, but they're developing and they're going to even trade down a bit. But what's amazing about this game is mainly that end part of the game, the checkmate. And remember, this is the greatest checkmates of all time. So here's a trade offer. Take. Black offers to trade. Queens, take. Now, also remember, this game is, like I said, it's a speed chess game. It's about 3 minutes. I think it was 3 minutes even with no increment. So if you're playing on chess.com, even if you make pre-moves, which are where you click the move before it's your turn, you still get a tenth of a second taken off. So in 1 second, you could play 2 moves, but you'd have to know exactly what you were doing before your opponent moved. So let's continue with it. Developing and more trading happens. Let's back up right there. Now, this last move that Black played, Knight was pressuring the pawn, but it's already protected. So this was not considered the best move. It didn't really need to be guarded, and that allows for a free pawn. Because if take, then the knight's going to take and fork these 2 pieces. So he didn't dare take, or the computer didn't, maybe the other person. And then knight threatens the rook, and it looks like 2 pawns are won by white. Looks to be, on a slow game, this might be a pretty easy win for their level. But remember, they're playing quickly, very quickly. So after that, we're going to see some more trading down. And I'm going to jump a little further into the game here. And soon pieces are going to come off very quickly. And it looks like white is just well ahead, playing very good moves. So anybody watching Amon play this game, and there were people watching, probably just thought, okay, well, he's going to win this pretty easily, being a whole piece ahead here, a piece and a pawn. But soon they noticed 2 things. They noticed, first of all, what was Amon doing here? And second of all, they thought, why is his opponent not resigning? Now, a lot of times people don't resign, so that does happen, but it's what Amon was doing that was very strange. And we'll kind of zip ahead here, get a little further down. Now, he starts moving his pawns down, but he doesn't really seem that interested in checkmating, at least not right away. And eventually he takes all the pawns of his opponent. But what is he doing? Oh, actually, he didn't do that. That's what everybody would think he would do. But he actually did something quite different. He got a bishop. So people thought, well, why not get a queen there? And he started not only getting bishops, but he started to get all these pieces. Oops, let's a little further down. He started to get all these pieces besides the queen. So he started going back a little bit. He got a bishop, a knight, another bishop, and so people were very wondering what this guy was doing. He did get one queen, but then they started to realize he was putting all his pieces where? Back where they began. And he was getting just the right amount of pieces that you start with, minus the pawns, because you have to get rid of the pawns. Now, go ahead and pause the video. What other piece do you think Amon will get with that last pawn? Okay, if you said he'll get a knight, you're right, because that's the one piece he needs to complete the setup. And there's the knight. Now you notice I haven't done a lot of pause the video on this game because who would ever think someone would do this? He's all the way back at the beginning position. Well, then people thought, okay, he made his point. Now he's just going to do a regular checkmate. And those are the people that were actually awake. A lot of people were either looking like this or they were like this during the game. I think a lot of people were probably like that. But I probably would have been like this, actually, during the game. So people were thinking, all right, what's he going to do next here? He's going for the easy checkmate. He's going to march his queen and rook. But he wasn't quite doing that. Now, can somebody tell me, pause the video, what move would be checkmate right here? Okay. If you said rook f8, you would be correct. But this, remember, is not a normal game. And Amon was still not trying to mate him, not yet. But what was he doing? He's leading the king. Is he trying to checkmate him now? No. He moves the rook back. The king moves in. And look, where's he going to put the rook? In its starting position. Then he makes this interesting move, queen d6. Just then, a lot of people started to realize what was happening. Now, a lot of people were like that. You know, a lot of people were that's to be honest, but there were some people who were definitely like, oh, I see it now. So, looking back at the game, what do you think the move, well, the only move here that they can play is king c2. And what is the checkmate in one, guys? And if you already have figured this, what he's doing, it should be an easy thing. Pause the video if you can see checkmate in one. Okay. If you said queen to d1, you were correct. This is the checkmate. He wanted to checkmate from the original starting position of at least the major and minor pieces. Quite a game. It's the 13th greatest ever on my list. Why isn't it higher, as amazing as this is? Well, it doesn't quite have the historical significance, and also it hasn't been around that long. It hasn't aged that much. But it is an unbelievable game, what he was able to do with the time control he had. And it's probably a game that will become legendary. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you back for number 12 on the greatest checkmates of all time.